Hi, welcome back. My name is Cole.
And I'm Andrew.
And this is Control-AC.
Control-AC is the podcast where we talk about private cloud computing.
Thank you, Mr. Craig Federighi.
Of course.
So
let's hand it back to Cole to tell us some more about this podcast.
So we just had Apple's WWDC 24.
Hence the iconic Apple. Every single presenter talks the same way. It's incredible how every head of their product team is an incredible public speaker.
They're all the same. It's hilarious.
It's got to be part of the job requirement too. When you get hired to be like head of the hardware design team, you also have to be incredible on stage.
You have to be able to do a presenter voice, be able to talk
to keep your hands at a 90-degree angle, move them around a little bit, and then bring them right back into center. Like center stage on iPadOS.
So we got not a lot, but we got quite a few new things with macOS, iOS, and iPadOS.
Yeah, WWDC, Worldwide Developer Conference, is the Apple software event, usually software. 2019, we got Mac Pro. Last year, we got, notably, Vision Pro. We had a very long episode on that. This year, no hardware. So Mark Gurman predicted that. He was correct. Just software, but boy, did we get some nice software.
Yes, we did.
This is also our 2-year anniversary of our first episode.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. There's some celebratory sound effects in there.
This is the third dub that we covered.
Yes, and this should be a lengthy episode. So grab your popcorn, grab your M4 iPad Pro that you just bought from the last Apple event.
Right.
And let's get started.
So first we got
the greatest intro to any Apple event. So the event opens in a plane, and it's Craig Federighi like talking to a bunch of Apple executives, and they all jump out of the plane. They have like Apple tracksuits on and Apple parachutes. The parachutes open to say like iPadOS, iOS, all that.
I think it's in the order too.
Yeah, Phil Schiller's flying the plane. He has a little iPod that's
like
mounted
with the first-gen iPod.
It's with the music, and he's like, "I'm getting too old for this."
And then Craig Federighi, whenever they're all ready to jump out, he notably puts on his helmet in the shape of his hair and falls out of the plane backwards.
The helmet is the exact shape of his hair. It's incredible.
It is quite
a replica of that would sell
done
for an unbelievable amount of money.
Oh yeah.
So the first thing we got was a bunch of like Apple TV Plus stuff.
Yeah, but we don't really care about Apple TV, so
that's great. It got 2 things. So tvOS now had 2 notable things, I should say. tvOS gets a dialogue enhancement feature. So I think it's just on Apple TV Originals, or no, the second one is. So I think this is system wide, but it will just bring out the dialogue and make that louder without making the background loud, which is actually kind of nice.
It's very nice. Some TVs have tried to do it, and this just makes the whole thing louder and doesn't do it well.
There are a lot of movies where it's like super quiet, but then so you turn it up a bunch, and then there's an explosion,
right? And
rattles
then music,
your house.
yeah.
So
it's a great experience.
I saw a tweet that was like, audio engineers spend hundreds of hours on movies tuning it right, and then you're just gonna crank up the dialogue and mess it up. So I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see if that works. It also got a very revolutionary feature. So now in the Apple TV app, when you're watching an Apple TV original, you can see what actors are in that scene. It's like an X-ray feature. Never been seen before.
How cool is that?
How cool is that? Thank you, Craig, again.
Yeah, Amazon Prime Video has not had this for years. This is definitely an Apple original feature.
For sure.
That's kind of a theme with this event. There are a lot of features here that are on other platforms.
Well, except for this next thing we're about to go into.
Right. Whether or not they're done better here is kind of up for debate.
It's Apple. Everything's better when it's Apple. So VisionOS 2 came out, which is interesting because it really should be like a 1.5. So nothing changed like almost at all.
Vision Pro came out last year.
It did.
It is notably $3,500.
Which, for a first-gen product, I think is justified.
Yeah, we've
We've
debated
gone
this in
plenty
length.
into that.
This was Apple's moment to be like, VisionOS is the future. Here's what we're doing to it. Here's the whole next generation of Vision Pro. Here's all. We got nothing, y'all.
No, literally nothing.
We
at
got like a couple new scenes. We got a new gesture straight from the Meta Quest where you can flip your hand over and tap to get your control center or your home screen.
Yeah, you can use a mouse now.
Yeah, the one cool feature, the Mac display mirroring can now be a giant ultra wide.
That is good.
So
that is nice.
$3,500. It's just weird to see Apple go from like, this is the future of technology to here's screen mirroring update and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like they really don't care about this. I know the general public doesn't. That fad is kind of long gone. No one really cares about Vision Pro. The YouTube content wave is pretty much dead. I don't know. It seemed like that just kind of died really fast. So we got nothing new here. A bunch of people on Twitter were saying that VisionOS 2, though, runs a lot better than even VisionOS 1.
I bet.
Just because of, like, but like the dev beta number 1 runs better than public release of VisionOS 1 dot whatever. So that's cool, I guess.
I guarantee that's why they just made it a whole nother revision of the OS, just fixing a lot of things that, were broken.
Which were quite a few.
Right.
But it's just weird not to see any new features. iOS 18 was next up. And this just goes to show how innovative Apple truly is. So I want y'all to listen to this. Picture your iPhone home screen. Now go into jiggle mode. Hold down on one of the apps.
Yep.
And move it and let go, and it snaps right back. Imagine for a second the app can be placed anywhere. Can we get a round of applause for the incredible innovation here? The app can be placed anywhere.
So this isn't like you can place apps at any point on your screen. If you go to your home screen right now, if you have a full page, right? There's like set positions, like it's a 4 on the 15 Pro, it's a 4x7. Or is it 4x7? No, 4x6, my bad. And there's however many grids that is, and it snaps into whatever grid you hold it over, right? It's still very fluid, it still looks very nice, but they kind of leaned heavy on it like it was this revolutionary feature of being able to snap your apps to a point on a screen. Like it already does. Just
right.
anywhere.
So the app positioning is the same. So the apps can only be put in the same spots that they are now. You could just have one like all the way over to the right, and nothing's in the middle.
So
and you have one on the left.
Think of if you have a full app page of apps, just think of them all as blank spaces. You could put them in any one of those blank spaces.
Right. Because on Android, you can't even put the apps anywhere. There's still a grid.
Right.
You can't overlap the apps. You can't. So it's just like that. Hopefully the sarcasm is picked up. This is what Android has had, what every OS has had for years and years and years. So it's good to see that you can finally, I don't know.
Yeah.
This is just long overdue. You can tint the apps now. You can make them all different colors. So when you put the phone on dark mode, all of the system apps now black out. Mm-hmm. So you get a little bit of color like from the like in messages or on the phone app, like the phone is still green. So you still get the accent color. The weather app is still blue, but the background is all blacked out. So I think it looks good. Some apps it looks good on. And then you can tint the apps too. So you can just make your entire app page like all blue or yellow or any color of the rainbow. Mm-hmm. And it just looks awful. So this is kind of interesting too, because for the longest time, you were super locked down on the iPhone. You couldn't really customize it like this to this extent. And what that did is it made every iPhone kind of look the same, and it kept you from having like a heinous looking iPhone. So now you can do that though. You can just have an unbelievably ugly iPhone.
Thanks, EU.
I guess. which
They need to
Apple
chill
probably doesn't love, but so all of that is great. Your iPhone can look really, really ugly now.
But it can also look good if you do it right. It's like modding a car, you know?
Yeah.
Don't rice your phone out.
Yeah. I never thought like the custom icons looked great either that everyone was doing since like
The little
iOS. Widget Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah.
Just be tasteful. Don't uglify your phone.
Right.
You can now lock apps
Yeah. So we're not really going to go into that.
with Face ID.
Same with the how your photos locks, your recently deleted and hidden lock.
Right. So now you can Face ID lock an app. So when you open it, the island pops down, scans your face, you're in the app.
Yep.
Straightforward. I love this because there's one app that I have. It is a money app, and it is the only one that doesn't use Face ID. I have my banking app, Robinhood, PayPal, Venmo. They all have Face ID lock built in. The only one that doesn't is Cash App.
That's true.
That's the only one that doesn't have it built in, at least for me for some reason.
No, Cash App doesn't. It keeps you signed in at all times, which is kind of...
all my other money apps, Face ID built in. So that'll be nice for this.
That will be nice.
You can hide apps now too, so it'll make a new hidden folder in your app library locked with Face ID. Craig on stage had an example where he was hiding an app called Hair Track Pro to track his hairstyles. So I love that they're leaning into that.
Yeah.
The Air Force One meme.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
He is the best. Control Center is now new. Finally.
Yes,
Can we
they
get a
fixed
round of
Control
applause
Center.
for that.
They made it look a little better. It's a little more round. You can now customize it. Same with the home screen.
But you don't have to go to settings.
You don't have to go to settings.
Now you can just it's like the widget interface.
Yep.
You can just go down to Control Center and then add stuff right from there.
Yeah.
It all is super rounded. It looks kind of VisionOS-y a little bit.
It reminds me of Big Sur.
Yeah. It looks good.
It does look good. I like it.
You swipe down to Control Center. It looks kind of the same general concept as right now. And then you swipe again and it goes to a music screen and then a home screen to see all your smart home controls. It's like a bunch of different Control Center screens that you can have, or you can just have the main one.
Yeah.
One of the new controls in Control Center is an updated flashlight control. On the 15 Pro and Pro Max, you can adjust the width of the flashlight beam.
Huh.
Which is actually
That's
really
pretty
sick.
cool.
Apparently, the LED is new on the 15 Pro.
Addressable LEDs or something?
Yeah, so you can just make it really narrow.
Yeah.
Like to laser point.
That'd be cool.
Oh, and when you turn it on now, it slowly fades on and then slowly fades off.
Why?
Instead of just instant flashlight, which I don't like because no real flashlight fades like that.
Not since like halogens.
Yeah. You kind of want it to be quick too, because you want to be able to
Get
turn it
behind
on quickly.
Get behind your couch, find your AirPods that you dropped just now and you had to leave to go to work. But we also got an update to messages. So you can now use text differently. There's bold, italics, underline, and strike through.
So you know how right now you can hold down on the blue send button and kind of animate a whole message?
Yep.
Now you can do that to individual words. So they have a thing that says, the example is major news, and they make major like bold and kind of jump out a little bit. So I'm never once going to use this.
No. You know what I will use though? The tap back with your own emojis.
Tap backs are now colored.
They are colored. They look a little nicer.
Kind of. They're all kind of more cartoony and fun. And then you can tap back with any emoji.
So like what Instagram has.
Right.
You can respond.
What everyone has. What WhatsApp has. What all of them have this.
Yep.
Tap back with any emoji.
There are so many times where I'm like, just like emoji, but it's just like a heart or a thumbs up. And I'm like, eh.
Right.
So then I've got to text it back with an emoji.
I can't wait to now put the OK sign on a text instead of because the thumbs up, the tap back options were so limited.
Yeah.
Like the thumbs up became kind of passive aggressive, but the any emoji thing is cool.
That is cool.
So
it's very basic, but pretty nice.
You can put a skull emoji on the text to make your responses even drier.
You can now text from satellites.
This is awesome. So with the 14 Pro, we got SOS via satellite, where if you're stranded in the desert, you can hold your phone up to a satellite. It tells you like turn around, angle it a little more this way, connects to the satellite, you're saved. Now you can text with that. So if you're in the desert and your friend with their new Android phone is stuck, you will not be, because you can hold your phone up to the satellite and it will send your iMessage without service.
You don't have to hold your phone up to the satellite.
You do.
What?
There's a dynamic island pop down that tells you like angle it towards, it says like angle it at the sky with no cloud cover.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, you have to position it just right. And then you can send it. That's so cool.
That is very nice.
I've been in situations with no cell service.
I was in Wyoming for like half a week, and we were on a mountain, and it just wouldn't, nothing.
Right, there's no service.
None.
So you could just send it with a satellite and still get the text.
They also had scheduled texts, which you can do in Gmail, stuff like that.
They could have ended the whole event there, and I would have been fine.
Yep.
My dad especially is like, this just made the whole phone like a million times better for him. This is his favorite feature by far, because he used to have an Android phone where you could schedule, where you could just schedule a text. Now we can do this, because there are a lot of times when I want to text someone, but I know they're doing something, or I know they're asleep, and I just want to send it like an hour later, but you end up forgetting. This is not a difficult feature.
Nope.
And it's finally here.
It is. You know what else is here? We have waited so long for this to come
They
to
spent
iOS.
2 seconds on it.
I don't even think they brought it up.
He said it really quick. They showed it on screen. He said the name of it. And we also have, and then the name. And that was it.
RCS.
We have an episode where we go over like what RCS is and what all it gives you.
We'll link that in the description of this episode just so you can go back.
Yeah, but basically it's an industry standard, which means everyone else has it.
Everyone else.
So now you can send pictures and video to your Android friends.
Yeah.
Get read receipts. Everything's fine and dandy. The Mail app got a bunch of stuff. We should drop this real quick. So Apple announced at the very end of this event something called Apple Intelligence. So it is their AI model that's going to be running on the iPhone, the iPad, the Mac, everything. It's their response to Google I/O and Microsoft Copilot, like all of the new AI stuff that you see the ads for. This is Apple's response. It looks very promising. We're going to talk about that at the end, just like Vision Pro. It was kind of like a one more thing.
Yeah.
But that brings Mail improvements. The categorization is better. I don't know. It would have to be so good to get me to switch to Apple Mail.
I just don't like the layout and like the design of the inbox.
Ugly. Maybe this makes it better though. Safari got a couple things. The reader is redesigned. The reading mode is redesigned. So you could go to your favorite website, click the reader mode. It gets rid of all the ads. It's kind of like a little shortcut hack. The passwords manager in iOS has now been pulled out into its own standalone app. So that's sick.
Every paid password manager has been killed.
Yeah, the only thing keeping them alive is this does not work on Android. So it works on Windows, not Android yet. But now you have a whole separate app for all of your passwords. Maps got a couple trail things. So if you hike, you can create your own routes. That's all cool. The iPhone gets game mode now. So that's kind of nice if you like to game on your phone. That gives you better latency with AirPods and controllers, like the DualSense. Is it DualSense or DualShock? Which is the new one?
DualSense.
And the Xbox controller. All great. It basically just cranks down the background activity. So like your phone doesn't check for messages as much.
It's like the macOS game mode.
Right. It just puts all the effort into holding that frame rate.
All the processing power goes to the game and not like if you have a Chrome tab or something open behind it, it's not trying to render everything in the Chrome tab.
Right. Just focus on the game.
Yeah.
Venmo gets killed. So let's have a kill count. So we have password managers 1, Venmo's number 2. So for some reason, Venmo is the standard in America for sending cash. I don't know why. I hate it. Zelle and Cash App, I think, are way better. but everyone uses Venmo. Now you can just bring two iPhones together and use a feature called Tap to Cash.
Yep.
Uses the ultra wideband chip. It's extra secure. Tap the phones and the money is sent.
Pretty much.
Easy peasy. In the wallet app too, when you go to events now, it gives you a bunch of information, like your seating information, the bag policy of the arena you're at, a ton of stuff, the weather. That's all great. AirPods is part of iOS, so AirPods get a couple new software things. This is awesome. So now when you have AirPods in and you get an incoming call, you know how it says like, Cole Weber is calling you. Mm-hmm. Answer it, and you say yes or no to answer or decline the call. Now you can just nod or shake your head to accept or decline the call.
Yeah,
which is great.
Especially, well, so the only thing I could like imagine you using this is like public, but then again, you'd still be on the phone.
The other day, though, I was talking to someone, and it said, so-and-so is calling you.
Okay.
Answer it, and I couldn't just say no out loud to the person. Right. So if I could just like casually shake my head, well, I guess that'd still look weird.
No, but it'd make, like if you're just like you just like look down.
Right. You can kind of brush it off.
It's a lot better than like saying, looking them in the eyes and just say, no.
No.
Okay, I guess it would make more sense for the no aspect.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess you're right, because the yes, if you answer the call with the yes, then you're going to be talking to him anyway.
Right.
But the no makes sense.
It does.
Voice isolation is better on AirPods Pro now. We get spatial audio for gaming. All of that's cool. Notes gets live audio transcription, so that's kind of cool. You can record calls now on iOS.
You can?
Yeah.
Isn't that illegal?
They just didn't spend much time on that at all.
They didn't bring that up.
It tells the other person you're recording it. So when you start the recording, the other person will get some kind of notification or message that says the call is being recorded. But you can do that now, and it will transcribe the whole thing. That's cool. The journal app gets updates.
It also introduces math notes, which we'll talk about with iPadOS, because that's when they really got into it. And that's a really crazy feature.
On the iPhone, that just looks like you writing out a math problem in notes, like 5 + 5, and then it will autofill 10. So really easy AI stuff there. You can have express mode now in the home app. So you can walk up to your house and the door will just unlock automatically. I don't know how this wasn't a feature, but that's kind of cool.
I feel like that's a common theme with Apple. Like, why wasn't this thing a feature already?
Yeah, pretty much. The Photos app is the other big thing. This just looks awful. So the whole Photos app is revamped. You no longer have the tabs at the bottom. It's now just, you open the app and it goes into your photos, which are on the top half of the screen. And then the bottom half is like your libraries, and it's all AI powered with like search suggestions and events. Yeah. I hate this. I think it looks terrible.
I agree.
So that's the one thing I'm not looking forward to. Yeah. Everything else is pretty cool. That's pretty much it.
Okay, I have a statement really quickly. It's kind of off topic, but do you remember a while back, we were talking about how the 120 refresh rate display on my Mac slowed the animations down? Mm-hmm. They fixed it.
They did.
With whatever update I'm on now, it's perfect.
And the on macOS, the new macOS, the animation speeds for minimizing a window are quicker, like the genie effect.
Yeah,
where it goes down.
And also, whenever you open your AirPods, it like glides in from the side.
Oh, nice. How cool is that?
How cool is that?
How cool is that?
We all.
So that's iOS 18. So customization with your home screen, iMessage features, great, fine and dandy.
Yep.
And then a bunch of Apple Intelligence stuff, which we'll get to at the end.
We'll do our own topic.
That's a big deal.
So now we got iPadOS 18.
Remember last episode, or I guess 2 episodes ago, whenever the M4 iPad Pro came out, we said, this is an incredible piece of hardware with lightning fast performance. It's incredibly thin, the best display on an Apple product, whatever. All it needs is Pro software.
Yep.
Something to take advantage of all the power. So we got a calculator app.
So we got a calculator app. So it also got everything iOS 18 got pretty much, like customization wise and everything.
Yeah, you can put your apps anywhere. You can make your iPad look really ugly now. It gets the Photos app. But it didn't get anything.
No, not at all.
Channels M4.
It got the Math Notes app, which, to be fair, that does use a substantial amount of computing power.
Okay, so let's go into that. So on the iPad calculator app, which exists now,
It does.
incredible. In an interview with Marquez Brownlee, Craig Federighi said that they will do a calculator app on iPad as soon as they figure out a way to make it worth like putting it on iPad. They said, like, he said in the thing, we could just like port the same iPhone app over and expand it and make it on iPad, but it wouldn't take advantage of iPad. It wouldn't make, it wouldn't be worth it.
Like the weather app.
I guess. But now they've done it, and this is actually sick.
It is.
In the calculator app, you can now have a big black screen. You take the Apple Pencil, you start writing out math equations, and as soon as you put an equal sign, it solves the math equation and puts the answer right there. Really cool stuff. So you can put 5x 5, and then just do nothing. As soon as you put equals, 25.
Yeah.
Right there.
It's just there.
Really cool stuff.
Ready to go.
And it answers it in your own handwriting too.
That is,
mimics how you wrote it.
It basically like trains itself to redo your handwriting in straight.
Awesome stuff. It works for algebra too. It works for variables. So you can have x equals 5, y equals 5, and just leave that up there. And then you can put x plus y equals, and it'll do 10 because it's content aware of the whole screen.
Yeah.
If you go up and change x to 10, it'll change the answer to 15 because it knows the variable changed.
Yep.
Really cool stuff. That is like the one feature on iPadOS 18 that actually uses like neural engine AI processing stuff.
To do 5 plus 5.
Well, to like be aware of the whole screen and do that on device, match your handwriting.
I feel like the handwriting thing is the biggest thing.
To be able to do all that, that's really cool.
It is.
If you're a student, you're going to love this. I don't know how teachers are going to vet like notes on an iPad now. Like if they say show your work and you're scribbling on an iPad, it just does it for you.
Hey, let's not give anybody any ideas, please.
But that's kind of the coolest thing. Other than that, it gets new app icons just like iOS. Gets the Photos app, gets the Messages features, gets the game mode.
I think we kind of brushed over this, but the Journal app also learns your handwriting as well.
Yeah.
It can fix spelling mistakes. It can straighten your lines. So like if you're writing in a line, like down a page, it'll straighten the lines out to be uniform.
Right.
I think it's a pretty cool feature, and we just kind of skipped that.
No, the handwriting matching is cool.
It is very cool.
When you screen share now on an iPad, you can have a remote control feature. This is awesome. So when you're screen sharing a relative and they say, I have no idea how to fix my phone.
It's like right there, and you're just like, click it right in the middle of the screen. Like, I don't see it.
Right. You can just take control of their screen remotely.
It does request permission, obviously.
Obviously. And you can cancel it at any time. You can just hit stop. But you can fix the person's phone.
Yep.
And then you're fine. That's really cool.
You know what is even cooler? macOS Sequoia.
Yep, because we're done. That's all the iPad got.
Yeah.
We got an incredible new iPad Pro with breakthrough processing power, and there's nothing here to take advantage of it. So for yet another year, the iPad is just a gigantic content consumption device with, again, it's a like Bugatti.
With a 4-cylinder.
No, it's a Bugatti on a public road.
It's a Bugatti in a neighborhood.
In a school zone.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable amount of horsepower. Absolutely nothing to take advantage of.
Unless you're Andrew Tate.
Right. It's really sad at this point. Because there's just like, it seems so neglected software-wise. Hardware-wise,
100%.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
I really want to buy an OLED iPad Pro. But it will do the exact same things that an iPad Air will. And there's no getting around it.
Not really it's borderline purposeless.
An iPad Pro.
Yeah, an iPad.
Yeah. As anything other than a content consumption.
You have a 15 Pro Max for your TikTok and your games that run well.
Right. And then I have an M2 MacBook
You
Air.
have an M2 MacBook Air for YouTube.
I just don't see the point.
Yeah.
Now, I would like an iPad to like sit down and watch stuff. Whenever I watch something, I'd rather watch it on an iPad than my Mac.
Oh, yeah.
But $1,000? Just unjustifiable.
100%.
So very unfortunate.
Yeah. You know what's not unfortunate? Like we already mentioned, macOS Sequoia. Oh my gosh.
Sequoia is the name for the next macOS. The wallpaper's really, really nice this year.
Pretty.
It's blue and orange sun rays kind of coming through the top. And it got a bunch of Apple Intelligence features, which we'll talk about at the end. And then the one other main thing it got is phone mirroring.
Which I think is by far the best thing we got this WW.
It's great. So there's an app in your dock now that just shows a picture of an iPhone. You click it and immediately mirrors your iPhone screen to your Mac. You can click on apps. You can swipe around the screen, all that.
You can quite literally use your phone on your Mac, no compromises.
So if you want to like check a score in an app or something, check your progress in a game, you can just load it on your Mac, not have to grab your phone. Also new in macOS, we get window tiling. Yay.
Rectangle's
What
dead.
an innovative feature.
Oh my gosh, Windows 95 had this.
So you grab a window, you drag it to a corner of the screen, it snaps to that corner.
To the corner. Apple is making me mad with the features they decide to implement in this thing.
3 apps.
Right.
We got rectangle, password managers.
And they killed widget apps.
Yeah. Oh, and there's one calculator app on the iPad and the iPhone where you type out a math problem and it shows you the answer. So that's kind of dead too.
That's dead.
Maybe.
Any like calculator app for the iPad is dead.
Yeah.
That's 6. We're at 6 things so far.
A lot of Sherlocking going on. macOS gets that same password manager app. They spent a bunch of time on gaming. I don't know why, because developers aren't porting their game. It's really easy. It's not hard to port your game over to macOS.
No,
they make it really easy.
Yeah, Linus did it.
Yeah, they have an entire API game porting thing with Metal 3, and no one does it.
I think we should do a little YouTube short on trying to port a game to Mac.
It's not hard to do.
I mean, it's not easy.
No one does it. So the problem with gaming on a Mac is not horsepower, like raw processing power.
It's not having a computer. It's not having games.
Right. It's just purely the developers at this point.
We get stuff like Assassin's Creed and Death Stranding and freaking what else?
Yippee. We get Stray.
Valheim.
You guys don't like to sit down and play Stray?
Resident Evil.
Notes gets that same math note thing too. It also gets the audio transcription, gets the AirPod stuff. All that's cool. That's pretty much it. So macOS is iPhone mirroring, a couple FaceTime presenter, share your screen stuff.
And then everything iOS got.
And then the Apple Intelligence stuff.
Yep.
Which we'll get to. My goodness. That's like the meat and potatoes of this whole event.
Yeah, for sure. It's not really meat and potatoes though. This is more just like the.
You know what encourages you to go easy on the meat and potatoes?
WatchOS 11. So we're just gonna kind of run through this. Nothing really interesting.
Should be easy because there's nothing new.
We got some vital information. So things like.
Be careful now. This is the best feature of the whole thing.
Things like
you can pause your rings.
You can pause your rings.
So if you've ever gotten sick and not wanted to go walk 8 miles to close your rings or like go to the gym when you're ill, you can just pause your rings, not lose your streaks or your progress. That's all great. You can adjust your activity goals for every day of the week. So you can say Monday, I want to burn 1,200 calories. Sunday, I only want to burn 500. Mm-hmm. You can like make a chill day.
Yeah.
Cool.
They just got a whole new vitals app. So it has things like your heart rate, your respiratory rate.
Blood oxygen, body temperature.
Right. Your overnight vitals.
All of that is in one thing. You have a bunch of training load information for your workouts and stuff. It's just really getting more and more like tracking focused.
Yeah.
They seem to be like edging toward the Whoop band. Every event
My dad has one of those, and it's pretty cool. But
The tracking on that's insane.
it is insane. That's just the Apple Watch is becoming that.
Very slowly.
Yeah, very
That's clearly their goal.
very
though.
slowly.
And then Smart Stack in the Apple Watch, which is where you swipe up on your home screen. That now has live activities. So you get like a little Uber notification thing. If
Yep.
you go to a sporting event, your ticket is there. Cool. It's fine. That's pretty much it for Apple Watch.
We got some health things. We're not going to really go into that, but there's some stuff in the health app like pregnancy tracking.
Right.
You can check in now. So like if you arrive at a location, like if you go for a run, you can check in back when you get home so nobody's worried about you.
None of this is crazy.
Right. Bunch of easy stuff.
This did not get Apple Intelligence.
It did not.
So this is kind of the boring. This and VisionOS are the two boring ones.
Yep.
My Apple Watch Series 5 is now obsolete. It does not get WatchOS 11. So this is the one device I own that will not have the new software in September.
It's been killed.
So, which is okay because I will be buying an Apple Watch 10. Let's hope it is square because I did not buy an Ultra and I've held out for this. So, all right, let's take a quick break and then we'll get into the biggest announcement by far, AI,
But
which
it's not what you
stands
think.
for Apple Intelligence. Okay, so the whole event up until this point went really, really fast.
It
was
did.
just feature, transition right into the next thing.
Yep.
Really wasn't any time to let any of this sit, which was kind of weird.
Yeah, it kind of threw both of us off. Usually these events are an hour to 2 hours-ish in that range. We were 20, 30 minutes in, already getting done with WatchOS.
And I just kept waiting for the AI stuff.
Yeah.
Like it just did not arrive at all. And then I was kind of thinking, okay, so it's going to be a one more thing, which it kind of was. They didn't say one more thing, but it kind of was. So at the end, Tim Cook goes, this is Apple's step into AI, all that. And we got Apple Intelligence, which is just naming for 1 second.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
It is.
To now make like AI synonymous with Apple Intelligence so that whenever someone says AI, you kind of think Apple Intelligence. Good move.
Very good.
I saw a tweet that said Google could have done this with Android Intelligence.
Yeah.
AI would have been the same thing.
No, they chose Google Tensor.
Would have been smart. So you can do 3 things with Apple Intelligence. And this is on their website, kind of broken down into 3 categories. So there is writing, expression, and then Siri stuff. So starting with writing. So Apple Intelligence as a whole is it's a bunch of AI features on device for the most part, kind of baked into everything. So the writing portion of this is on the iPhone. And it's also on the Mac. The Mac is probably where you're going to use this the most. So what this is kind of everything that you would use ChatGPT for. So the writing tools little pop down that it has will proofread whatever body of text you're writing. And this is system wide in every app. It can rewrite on the spot to make it more friendly, professional, concise. It can summarize. It can make key points. It can make a list. It can do all these like text generative AI tasks on device quickly in any app. Really, really cool. Notifications kind of get this. Priority notifications are a thing now. It kind of knows what you care about right now and what you don't. This comes to the Mail app. It helps with categories and all that. The Mail app also gets summaries, so it will summarize emails for you. Instead of showing you the first couple words of an email now in a little preview, it will just show you an AI summary of it.
Which is pretty cool.
All of this is great.
Yeah.
So now when you're writing a paper on your Mac or writing out an email on your iPhone, you just highlight the text. I assume you just double click and then rewrite or say, add a couple fun adjectives, make this sound better. You don't have to go to ChatGPT or Gemini. It's just right there.
You don't have to swipe up. You don't have to open an app. You don't have to click paste and say, rewrite this.
Add pull up the kill list. Grammarly is now dead because you can just click proofread,
So that's
and
7.
it will say change your verb tense here, throw in an adjective here, restructure this sentence. Boom. On device. Don't have to pay for it. Awesome. Awesome stuff here.
Very.
That's kind of the writing portion of it. The expressive part.
This is awesome.
I don't know. I don't know if I like this.
Really?
They have a thing called Genmoji. So now you can create your own emoji.
Is there like a demo for this?
Yes, I think so. But there's an image playground app. This is pretty much just Midjourney, if you know what that is.
Yep.
So it has like themes, mountains, beach, winter. You can kind of pick one of those. You type out what you want, and then it will generate an image based on that description.
And I am 100% sure this will get more features.
Yeah. So you just type in, astronaut on the moon, riding a whale
Right.
into an asteroid, and it will make it. Image Playground app is kind of a safe place to do all this. It also will use your contacts. So you can just, when you're texting someone, it will take their Animoji and you can make them do a bunch of stuff. Like I can type into Image Playground, on the moon, and it will just make your Animoji on the moon. So you can do stuff with other people, which is a path for sure.
But it's Apple, so everything's going to be fairly locked down. There's going to be restricted things that you can and can't say and do.
Right. The Vergecast had a very good line about this. I think David Pierce said, someone's going to draw a picture of a gun or ask it to do so, and Tim Cook will be right in front of Congress again with a whole free speech, antitrust. Apple doing this is different from Midjourney because Apple is in the pocket of way more people than Midjourney.
I guess I should cancel my Midjourney subscription.
The stakes here are way higher. There's an image wand on the iPad, so if you draw a sketch of something like a building, you circle it with the Apple Pencil, and it will create a cartoon based on that image. Pretty cool stuff.
Yep.
This is in Photos now. So Apple Intelligence in Photos will let you do exactly what the Pixel does. So you can just type, what is my driver's license number? And it will pull that up. What the iPhone does now, though, is when you're filling out a form and it says driver's license number, you can just click on that. It will find it from your photos, paste it in the form, and then you're good. So that's awesome. And we also get a cleanup tool in the Photos app that is just like Magic Eraser on the Pixel. So you open a photo, family portrait, there's some random guy in the back. You just circle him, he's gone. Just like the Pixel.
It's pretty cool.
So those are the two fun things. So there's writing stuff, ChatGPT, language capabilities, summarizing, and then creative pictures, Genmoji, all that fun stuff. The last part is Siri. So Siri is now powered by Apple Intelligence. So Siri has gotten a major performance boost. It's a whole new look too. So instead of the purple and bluish logo, it's this new pinkish blue twirly thing. It looks completely new. The new Siri logo.
Yeah.
So Siri now has an index basically of your entire device. So everything from your messages to your preferences, everything about you in all of your apps, Siri knows.
On device.
This is all stored on device. It never goes to Apple.
Supposedly.
Well, for sure. And we'll get to that in a second because this is incredibly secure stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
So Siri is way more personal. When you hold down the home button now or the power button, the edge of the phone lights up. This reminds me of Google Assistant on the Pixel 4 where you'd squeeze it and the sides would illuminate.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like that. You can type to Siri now. So it's like ChatGPT. You can just write out a message and Siri will do it. But Siri is super powered. So they call this personal context where it just knows everything about you from all your apps. So the example is you are at work and you say, can I make it to my daughter's recital tonight? And it knows, okay, you are at work. You usually take an Uber. Here is how long it would take for you to Uber to your daughter's recital, which is at this location. How does it know that location? Because it pulled that from the PDF invitation to the recital from your Messages app.
Yep.
So it just uses this AI to pick and pull from all your apps and figure out what you want to do. Awesome stuff. So hypothetically, if you are flying somewhere, I can say, when will Cole land here and what time do I need to leave to pick him up? So it will find your flight number from our texts, run your flight number, get your arrival time, calculate the traffic ahead of time, and tell me what time I need to leave. So it's just super advanced computational Siri stuff that just means you can talk to it like you would an assistant. You don't have to like dumb down your requests. Language understanding is better too. So they said you can say, Siri, set an alarm for, actually set a timer for 10 minutes. Actually make that 5. That was their example.
Yeah.
And it will know what was a mistake and what wasn't.
I'm just glad that they acknowledged that Siri was bad.
Yeah, this is so cool though. So you just have this super powerful Siri assistant built into your devices that can do an insane amount of stuff.
Yes.
We don't know how well this is going to work yet, but based on, Apple's track record, this shouldn't be terrible. It should work pretty well.
Or they just bricked Siri and it's terrible.
I doubt that. I really think this is going to be good.
No, yeah, I agree.
They used an example too. What was Joe's book recommendation that he gave me? So it will read the texts and emails from Joe, find the name of the book, tell you the book. A bunch of stuff like that.
It's kind of like when we talked about the new Windows
recall thing.
Right. Which I'm starting to more and more understand. Oh, update on that. They made it opt in instead of opt out.
Yes.
Which was fixed the problem.
So it's just that kind of hyper aware, contextual. Great. That's all cool. On the Mac, that goes to files too. So I can say, pull up the file that Bill sent me last weekend. And it pulls up that file because it knows when Bill sent me the photo.
Yeah.
Or the file. All cool stuff. Privacy. So this is a ton of information on your device. These requests are run both on device and in the cloud. So here's how that works. When you use the Apple Intelligence features, it supposedly knows what it can do on device and what it cannot do on device. So if you have a task that is very complex, it will send that off to an Apple server, compute it there with more power, send it back to your phone.
Yeah.
So naturally, you would question the safety of this. So they call this private cloud computing. It draws on a server. The server runs Apple Silicon. Your data on here is not stored. So as soon as they are done processing your request, that information is deleted entirely. So even if the federal government came in and said, we demand that you hand over all of Andrew and Cole's information, they literally can't because they no longer have it.
Yeah.
It is all deleted. It's used only for your requests, all of that stuff. I have a tweet here that I'll read that we'll link in the show notes.
I saw that.
Yeah. It says, okay, I take it back. Apple's private cloud computing actually takes confidential computing to the next level. It's so secure that they can't even comply with the law enforcement requests. There's no data retention, unlike every other cloud provider. No privileged access, so even Apple SREs can't see your data even if they wanted to. Custom hardware and operating system with secure enclave and secure boot to reduce attacks. Non-targetability, which means that your requests never go to the same place, so an attacker can't specifically attack one person because you don't only contact one server. And there's verifiable transparency, so researchers can inspect the software to check it, and that's all open to inspection.
Yeah.
So this is like a whole new standard of privacy This is amazing. Way more than what ChatGPT and Google are doing now.
Easily.
Apple says that they will regularly release images of the entire custom OS powering these servers for public inspection, along with a virtualization environment so that security researchers can poke it and the public can attest that it does what it claims. This is awesome stuff.
So it's not quite open source, but essentially
it's open enough where you can see exactly what it's doing to make sure it's safe. They will also use a feature that makes sure that the devices, meaning like your phone and Mac, will not even try to connect to one of the cloud computing servers unless it can be proven that it's running a version of the software that has been publicly released. The level of complexity here is awesome.
It's very good to see that Apple's making a good faith effort for it too.
Yes. Apple has always had this big commitment to privacy, and it is like full steam ahead with privacy here. This is incredible levels of lockdown. No one sees this stuff. It is going to our server, but it's in the most secure, encrypted lockdown way. It's just really impressive to see, because when stuff like this comes to the iPhone, you have a lot of people who wouldn't usually use something like ChatGPT or Midjourney. Like the average iPhone user is not currently on all these AI sites. So when you start saying, the iPhone uses all of your personal information to answer your requests, it sounds sketchy to people.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound all fine and dandy.
And I've already seen things on it, like on Instagram and Twitter.
We'll get to Elon. My gosh.
What did he say?
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Lord.
I debunked some of that on my Twitter, which you all should go follow.
At Utterly True.
Of course. So when Apple does this is why Apple can't just do, uncalculated things. They're in the pockets of too many people. It's why they can't just throw out a folding phone, because they will sell 100 million of them. And if they all break, it's very bad.
Yeah.
Instead of like Vivo folding phones breaking, and it affects 5 people.
The maybe dozen.
All of who work for Vivo. Like, their stakes are always higher for everything they do. Just what happens when you're now, again, the most valuable company in the world. So this is all kind of very good reassurance stuff. I guarantee you this is going to be the first thing they do in the ads. Here's all the Apple AI stuff, and then immediately private cloud computing. We never see your data. It's all deleted. I feel like they're really going to drive that home. Because especially with Google Gemini being as popular as it is, and that doing all the on-device recall, and with Microsoft doing on-device recall, you would think that they would really try and hammer home that, like, 100%. We're not like them. We don't store any of this. ChatGPT is also built in.
Yes, it is.
Sam Altman was at WWDC. There's a whole partnership going on. We know the financial side of this now. So this is interesting. Apple is not giving OpenAI any money.
Nope.
OpenAI is not giving Apple any money. There's no money here. It's just exposure. So ChatGPT is kind of integrated into the Apple Intelligence thing, but not seamlessly. So Apple says, with ChatGPT from OpenAI integrated into Siri and writing tools, you get even more expertise when it might be helpful to you. No need to jump between tools. Siri can tap into ChatGPT for certain requests, including questions about photos or documents. And with Compose and writing tools, you can create and illustrate original content from scratch. Okay. So ChatGPT is built into the little box that Apple Intelligence will give you. So the example is on a Mac. Someone's writing bedtime story for Annie, and they highlight the whole thing. They double click, Apple Intelligence pulled up, and it says refine with ChatGPT.
Yep.
So you can send that text to ChatGPT, and it will do all the work on their server, not the private cloud compute thing that we went over.
Which is important.
Yes, and then send it back to you. So that is done on OpenAI's side.
And Elon had some things to say about that, which we'll get into in a minute.
Right.
But
Apple says you control when ChatGPT is used, and you will be asked before any of your information is shared. Anyone can access ChatGPT for free without creating an account. ChatGPT subscribers can connect accounts to access paid features within these experiences.
Yep.
So everyone who has Apple Intelligence, which is everyone with an iPhone, running
iOS 18.
which is everyone with an iPhone 15 Pro or 15 Pro Max. This is just on the brand new Pro iPhones.
And we'll be getting 16s in September, so.
Right. So right now it's only on the 15 Pros and then only on M1 Max.
Okay. M1 Plus.
Right. Not M1 Max with the capital M. M1 Mac models. Macintoshes.
M2?
Yeah.
So like
The M1 M series. Apple Silicon.
Apple Silicon.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's ChatGPT 4.0. We went over that with the Scarlett Johansson episode.
Yep.
So it's the newest ChatGPT. It's integrated, right? It's not built in. Like it's not.
It uses their software and not on device.
It's just like a little portal.
Right.
You can just kind of say, use ChatGPT now, and then it'll ping their server.
It back end opens the app, puts it in there, gets a response, brings it back essentially.
Right. You can upload an image via that, so you can do the text to Siri. You can type to Siri now.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
We talked
so
about
you can
that.
click the photo button, you can upload a photo, and it will say, do you want to send the photo to ChatGPT? And then you can say, sure. And it will send it to ChatGPT, analyze the photo, and you know it's going to OpenAI.
Yeah. And none of this stuff is stored either.
Right. And all of the personal context data we were talking about, where it knows everything you do on your phone, none of that gets seen by OpenAI.
Nope.
The only stuff they see is literally the text and the photos you choose to send with the big, explicitly obvious button.
Yep.
Elon Musk does not understand this.
No.
So he tweeted, if Apple integrates OpenAI at the OS level, then Apple devices will be banned at my companies. That is an unacceptable security violation. And visitors will have to check their Apple devices at the door, where they will be stored in a Faraday cage. What in the world? The whole premise of his thing is if OpenAI is at the OS level. So that's completely false because it's not at the OS level. Then he says it's absurd that Apple isn't smart enough to make their own AI yet, even though they literally did, yet is somehow capable of ensuring that OpenAI will protect your security and privacy. Apple has no clue what's actually going on. Once they hand your data over to OpenAI, they're selling you down the river. Okay, and then they posted a meme of like a lady drinking out of a coconut, and the coconut is the iPhone, and the lady is Apple. So it's Apple drinking from the iPhone, and then there's a guy with a straw connecting to the other straw, and the other guy is OpenAI. So it's like OpenAI sucking your data from Apple and your iPhone.
Yeah.
Completely false. It's not even
sure
close to how this works. And then a crypto account said, remember when Scarlett Johansson told OpenAI not to use her voice, but they cloned it and used it anyway? Now imagine what they can do with your phone data, even if you don't allow them to use it. Elon quote posted that and said, exactly, failing to realize that's not even close to how it works.
No, right.
I tweeted, this is why you read the article instead of just tweeting the headline.
Right.
This is why you cannot just post a headline and say, oh my, look at that news story, without actually reading the story. Because it turns out, before you start saying things like, Apple devices will be banned at my company, you should probably understand how the feature works.
Yeah.
He clearly does not. So if you're seeing this and you're concerned, ChatGPT is not on your phone. They're not touching any of your data. You will be okay.
Yeah.
All of that stuff is sent to the text and images are sent to their server. After you click the button, you can always click no. You don't have to opt into that. They have a whole SDK for developers, so developers can easily integrate whatever they want into this. Ford has a whole partnership with Apple. So Craig Federighi had a little widget thing on his home screen that said like start my car or preheat the car or something, which is interesting too because the Apple Car thing is dead. And now Ford is like getting kind of close to Apple. And
Wait, what do you mean the Apple Car thing?
The Apple Car.
Oh, the Apple Car.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
The project is dead. And now Ford's all like buddy. We still don't have an update on next gen CarPlay because it's not in the Macan EV yet fully, which was the only car that was supposed to get it. Anyway, so the SDK thing lets developers tap into image playground and writing tools, and you can put that in all your apps. I think Grammarly's completely dead. So we'll see if they integrate any writing tools into their app. Highly doubt it. And that's kind of it. So we get all of these ChatGPT-like features that are made by Apple in the Mac and iPhone and iPad natively, but we also just straight up get ChatGPT, or at least a window to it in the iPhone.
Yeah.
All this is great. Really, really cool. And the type to Siri thing works by just tapping the navigation bar at the bottom twice.
Oh, okay, cool.
So you just tap twice, write out your question.
I'm very excited for this.
Easy. This is going to be really cool.
We'll definitely be getting the public beta next month, but that's not going to have these features yet. Like you said earlier, they're not going to be rolled out for a while.
Right.
And it's a wait list. So
the public beta is in July. We should get that, right?
Yeah.
You'll get that?
Yeah.
On your main phone? Mm-hmm. I'll get that on mine. We'll kind of review all the heinous customization stuff and all that. But Apple Intelligence will come way later in the fall. And it's the beta coming in the fall. Mm-hmm. It's not like the full finished product. And it's a wait list too. So the wait list for the beta is in the fall.
My guess is it's going to be done by WWDC next year.
I think that's a safe bet. I think next WWDC is like more Apple Intelligence stuff.
It'll probably be done by winter this year, so you won't need to like be on the wait list anymore. Come like January, December.
Right, and I would assume at the iPhone 16 event, it would be like heavy. Here's the 16 Pro with a beefed up neural engine.
Yep.
Here's how good it is at Apple Intelligence stuff.
100%.
But I'm just glad it came to the 15 Pro and they didn't say it will be exclusive to the new iPhone models coming in September. That would have sucked. M1 Mac models and up get Apple Intelligence on macOS. So both of our laptops do.
What, you're telling me you don't want the i9 9600 or 9900K?
I feel so bad for anyone who bought a fully spec'd out Intel MacBook or like Mac Pro.
Yeah. Yeah, you're pretty much cooked on that one.
There are so many like Xcode things now too, where you can't even design stuff for Apple unless you have Apple Silicon.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. But
rest in peace to the $52,000 Mac Pro buyers.
Right.
That was not a good idea. So this is cool. I'm really excited to see this. This is finally Apple responding to the Google ads airing during the NBA Finals that show all of America how AI packed the Pixel is, where you can erase people from images and search for stuff with Google Lens. All that stuff is more or less on the iPhone now. And it's going to be really interesting to see if it's just as good or if it's like substantially better. So usually the whole Apple way is not the first to do it, but the best to do it. Sometimes that's the case, sometimes not. We'll see. It'll be a couple months. It'll be a little while. But this is going to be a lot of fun. In the meantime, if you have access to Apple Intelligence, you can tweet at us on the platform with the most misinformed CEO. That's Twitter, X. I'm at Utterly Drew.
And I'm at ColeWWWeb.
We will see y'all in the next one.
Bye, guys.